Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the October 6th regular City Commission meeting. I believe the agenda, everything was posted in accordance with state law. We do have a quorum, and then everyone is here present except the mayor, and she will be inbound shortly. If we would all rise now for Commissioner Prez to offer the invocation, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we are grateful for the opportunity to serve our community tonight. Guide us to lead with integrity, wisdom, and compassion. Help us to seek unity over division, to listen before speaking, and to always remember that the decisions we make affect the lives of our neighbors and families. Bless our city staff, first responders, and all who work to keep Harlingen safe and thriving. May everything we do honor the trust placed in us and move our city forward with fairness and purpose. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Mr. Saucy, the conflict of interest, please, sir.
Under state law, a conflict of interest exists if a commission member or certain members of that person's family has a qualifying financial interest in an agenda item. Members with a conflict of interest cannot participate in the discussion or vote on the agenda item. Are there any known conflicts of interest to disclose at this time?
None.
None.
None. None.
None.
Item 3, announcements. With respect to items not listed elsewhere in this agenda, the City Commission may report on items of community interest, including announcing community events, announcing employee or community recognitions. We will go with item 3B, City Manager's announcements.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that our next City Commission meeting will be on October 20th. That's a Monday. It'll be here at Town Hall. And then we do have a Town Hall scheduled for October 21st at Casa de Amistad, and it'll start at 6 p.m. And I'd also like to recognize our latest hire. Richard Jones was hired as the new HR director, and he came to us from the city of Rowlett. Richard, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
Yes, for sure. So first, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come to work at the city of Harlingen. I'm happy to be on the team and appreciate it. My history or my background goes back quite a ways, so I'm dated a bit. So I've been in human resources now for approximately 37 years, 25 in municipal government, 4 years in state government, and then a few years in Washington, D.C. at the National Governors Association, which they thought they were government. So a long public service record going back quite a ways. I'm hopeful that I can do what I do best, which is help take care of staff and their families. I think that's what human resources is responsible for doing, and so that's my professional and personal mission, and I hope to be able to just make things a little bit better.
Thank you. Welcome.
And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. Good. Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you,
Richard.
Appreciate it.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Now we're going to go to City Commission members' announcements.
October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My sister is a survivor. My sister-in-law is a survivor. And I have a coworker that's a survivor. And it's all because of early detection. So if you got a lady you love, or you like, or can tolerate, make sure you're encouraging her, your mom, your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, whatever. Get out, do whatever is necessary so you don't become a statistic. It's a terrible disease. I hope someday we come to closure on it, but these ladies deserve our best effort, so let's make sure we give it to them. That's all I have.
I want to congratulate staff for fantastic events. We had a fantastic walk with the principal at Savala, behind Savala Elementary at Vestal Park. We had a great downtown at sundown season, so congratulations downtown. And then congratulations to Edgar and Cassandra for Rio Fest. It was phenomenal. I only went the second night on Saturday, and it was packed to the gills, so congratulations. I'd like to invite everyone to the Harlingen Mod 75-year anniversary, which celebrates local architects John York and Alan Taniguchi, which will be this Saturday, October 11th. There's going to be home tours of mid-century modern homes here in Harlingen from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And then there's going to be a celebration at 2 to 6 at the Harlingen Arts Museum. So hope you all can join us.
Mike?
Yeah, I offer my sympathies to our city manager, Gabe, on his team falling out of the top 25.
UT Longhorns, that's the team he's talking about, yeah.
I didn't say it.
I'm still not fully grasp that, but, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
None.
It's kind of fitting that we got these caps. I just wanted to offer my condolences. I know the Harlingen Fire Department lost one of their own this week in John, and I know he served the city of Harlingen very proudly. I knew him briefly, and I just want to extend my condolences to him and to his entire family and to the entire Harlingen Fire Department.
Mayor, any announcements?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know what everyone said, so I'm not going to repeat anything. I will just say I'm happy to announce that the city of Harlingen has a new Ironman. My son participated in the Ironman competition in Waco, so did so many other Harlingen athletes, and so now he's one of 0.001% of the population that do an Ironman. So I'm sure none of these guys said that, so those are my announcements. And I'm sure that we talked about the things that are happening on the weekend, right? Yes. All right. Moving on.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 4, proclamation and presentation of awards. We have the Harlingen Animal Shelter Pet of the Week.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission. Tonight, we have 2 special guests. One of them is Angelica Ramos. She is our new animal shelter manager. We are excited to have her on board. She's already hit the ground running, working in the shelter, learning all the processes, and taking notes of areas that are amazing and other areas that may need to be improved upon. So we are excited to have her on board. And tonight she has brought with her Zara. Zara is about a year old. She's been at the shelter for about 5 weeks. She knows sit and she knows fetch. And then if she's told to go back in her kennel, she'll go back in her kennel. So she's actually well on her way to knowing a bunch of commands. And that's all thanks to the animal shelter staff who work tirelessly with every animal that they can every day. And she will be waiting for her forever home or for her forever people to come and find her at the Harlingen Animal Shelter at 1106 Markowski. Anybody who's interested in Zara or any of the other animals at the animal shelter is welcome to call 956-216-5250.
What were those 3 commands again?
Sit, fetch, and she'll go into her kennel when directed.
Same ones my wife gives me.
I love it.
So,
Well, she's
I'm not very good at it.
beautiful. Shannon, I want to congratulate y'all. I know, I don't know if we discussed this, but we announced the affordable low-cost spay and neuter program, and within, I don't know, hours, you already were at capacity with over 120-plus applications. Staff is working really hard, and I know that we've got another grant in the pipeline to continue that work. So great job in getting the word out. It seems to me that whatever it is that y'all are doing to get the word out worked. Just keep doing it, and hopefully Zara can also be on the receiving end of that social media. I know that I've seen her a couple of times on there, but people are watching what you're doing, so give these pups some more exposure, and I'm sure that she'll be on her way to her forever home.
she is set to be spayed tomorrow. I forgot to mention that. So she has her appointment scheduled for tomorrow. But I also did want to thank the Special Projects Department. Without their assistance, like, these grants would be a lot harder for us to try to complete on our own. So it's definitely a joint effort, a team effort, and we do appreciate all of their help.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 4B. We have a proclamation proclaiming October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission. My name is Jason Moody, Director of Communications and Media, and have the pleasure of reading our proclamation from the City of Harlingen for Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the City of Harlingen is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community. And whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which, if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risks in homes and communities. And whereas the Harlingen Fire Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. Now, therefore, I, Norma Sepulveda, Mayor of the City of Harlingen, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Harlingen, and urge all residents to take proactive steps to ensure fire safety in their homes and workplaces. At this time, I'd like to have Assistant Fire Chief Loftus say a few words.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Darrell Loftus, one of the Assistant Fire Chiefs for the Harlingen Fire Department. Excuse me, so as our PIO had shared with you what our campaign is for Fire Prevention Week, want to extend a little bit more and elaborate just for a little bit about charging into safety. So not only are we adopting and implementing the national theme, but more importantly, it'd be remiss if we did not look back in time at the losses that we've had in our community that impacted our economics, our livelihood, and then more importantly, our community with the loss of people. And with that being said, our charging into safety is to be geared towards our audiences and meeting their needs and looking at the different youth levels, and not only just the youth levels in school and these schools, whether they're Harlingen School District, Rojondo, Santa Rosa. We try to influence the youth to be educated. On top of that, it's imperative that we reach out to adults and we meet the needs of the adults to encourage their children as well, to be protective of themselves and to get out, to stay out, to stop, drop, and roll, to all the sequences of safety that we can impart to them. And with that being said, in addition, we'd like to share with you that the fire department has begun initiating a program to collaborate with the Red Cross to install smoke alarms in as many homes as that we can, and to provide education to existing residences that do have them, whether they need to be updated, maintained, or even replaced. So we just wanted to share with you that we're going a little bit beyond in our community, leading the charge in safety. And thank you very much for the support.
Mayor?
Well, don't go anywhere. We'd love to take a photo with you and Sparky and all of the Harlingen Fire Department. We appreciate you so much. We know all of the great work that you do in our community, not just, protecting all of us in our homes, but also the awareness campaign and all the community work that you do in Harlingen. If I can get the commission and we can take a photo.
Mansfield? I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
Look over here, ready? And 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
It's not popping up anywhere.
Correct.
I don't know where it is.
No, absolutely, man.
The closest one is in Houston, Texas. I don't know where it is. Unless I'm misspelling, but I don't know.
Thank you.
We're going to pass on the next two.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, Ms. Myra, so the others two we're going to pass. You can go ahead and move on.
Okay, moving on to item 5, citizens' communication. At this time, the public is invited to address the city commission and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere in this agenda. Please note that the city commission members may not respond to comments or deliberate on topics addressed. Today, we have 4 citizen communication, and the first one's Joe Mata. You can go ahead and, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Joe Mata, born in Richmond, 1991. So, City Commission, I don't ask for money nor accept money for my service. I'm homeless, not in the streets. And like everybody needs things, I'm willing to do community service for things I need, food, clothes, etc. I'm willing to do blood tests, drug tests for sake of trust. If possible, do know people or you know people, can you or will make a GoFundMe for the things I need as I continue to do good deeds. I'm here for the winter, farther south for the winter, farthest north for the summer until I hear back from Governor for granted what I'm asked for of him. Texas ID number 27347054, Joe Mata, 832-902-3820 is my number. Call Texas for help. I do not charge for my service. And I hear what things what I do. Things that look like what I do. So this you will see trash. Okay. And clean. Same thing. Weeds. You see weeds on the side. You might not be sure, but on the side of the street there'll be weeds. As you can see, they're clean. Okay. Things I've done while I've been here. Yeah, like I said, and besides that, you know, I would have to say to the room, don't be lazy, be sober. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mata, for joining us and for signing up. I know that this is your first time here, just so that way you're aware. We have these rules that govern these types of meetings. I was told by the city secretary's office that they let you know, but I just want you to understand that as much as we'd love to be able to communicate with you and discuss these issues, the commission cannot answer questions or have a back and forth. But we'd love, I know you read out your number, but if you can hand it over to Josh, and we can give you a call at a later point.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, appreciate you.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next one. We have Ron Lozano. Yes, sir, but you signed up for citizens communication, which would be right now.
No, I said it's public hearing, it says on there, public hearing or citizen communication, so I tried to.
Okay, you're out of order, Mr. Lozano. Give us just one moment.
We don't have any public hearings for this meeting.
Yeah, we don't have any public hearings. If you would like to take the podium, Mr. Lozano?
So what is 10B categorized as?
You'll have 3 minutes as soon as you'd like to address the commission.
You're going to start the time, right?
Yes.
Our initially esteemed mayor was on the tube several times yesterday, and our foremost issue was drainage. For new subdivisions, the prime solution has been retention ponds, not only to mollify buyers, but in theory, that other residents who have been their adjacent neighbors perhaps for a generation or more do not suffer damages as a result of unchecked growth. This is at least an effort to an equitable result. Tonight, as I currently understand, with the lack of transparency the city is renowned for, we may deviate from policy. But why should those with wealthy influence be able to trounce our city's established rules? If our city had any bona fide policy that lasts more than a month or two, that would be a case. Alas, we don't. For the sake of our unity, you heard it again, at a sacred moment. For the sake of unity, all of you jump off a cliff, decorous. Oh yes, you're decorous. Hand in hand, you go flying off a cliff. Not lacking idiocy, because the mayor says we're in this nefarious issue together. We do not,
Excuse me.
we do not commit the bias, or, as I already said, you're very nefarious on this issue of retention ponds. So I hope we don't continue to, like for instance, just as a very minute example, Jason's Deli. That is something you all should follow the rules. The Secretary of State was brought up yet a few moments ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lozano.
You're welcome.
Next one, we have Diana Garcia Padilla.
Hello, Commissioners. I too came in a short notice because I've been following some of the things that are happening. I wanted to bring to the Commissioners' attention. There is that horseshoe that is listed on 10B and I was looking back in some of the history, and it's a subdivision that's gonna potentially be there, a road that potentially has a variance, a ditch that's probably gonna go in, and all of these things are being done without the neighbors knowing. I've called the neighbors, I've come to the meetings, I've shared with the neighbors, and nobody seems to know what's going on. Everybody except for you guys. So I ask that if that subdivision goes in, that the designs be really looked at. I'm already having issues because that happened to me. No one told me anything. A retention pond wasn't put in. My land is being taken. And in the new design for the new horseshoe, more of my land will be taken. The designs are being looked at in little bits and pieces and not as a whole. That subdivision will make the ditch on back of those properties to be expanded, and none of the residents know that. Only the owner of that piece of property, which is also the same owner of the property that I have a problem with. I'm hoping that this is not favoritism because he is well-known, because he is who he is. I'm not going to say everyone knows who I'm talking about. If not, please look it up. I don't need, to cause more problems. I have a lawsuit with him. But please, do your due diligence because it's more people being affected. We want subdivisions, we want progress, but not on the backs of the people who already own the land, not without compensation. It's costing us a lot of money to fight this. Nobody told us this was going in. The engineer was a city engineer. These, to me, there's favoritism. There's things going on that don't smell right. And these things that I'm looking at while I'm coming to these meetings, they don't look right. So I ask that each one of you really looks at it and puts it together. And if you approve something, it's a whole picture, not pieces, because those pieces are ending up a problem to our neighborhood. I don't know if I'm finished, but I hope you look back and do a little bit more research on the issues that I'm talking about. We're talking about the horseshoe, the property that was annexed. We're talking about the ditch that looks like it's going to be expanded. When I was told from the engineer, there was no plans. I came to a meeting, and there were no plans. All of a sudden, there's plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla.
Okay, last one's going to be Ricardo Rubiano.
Good afternoon, Rick Rubiano. I live in the county, but I developed Water's Edge 25 years ago. It's a long time. Filed the first plat around 2000, maybe 2001. I had never heard of all this. And I checked with legal counsel a couple days ago before I went out to see my daughter in college. And then I heard about this meeting right now, so I apologize for my appearance. I was working, building a... Anyway, I own the land to the south of this property in 2B, the item in 2B. And, what? 10B. 10B? There's a road called New Hampshire that serves my property, and it's gone. That's illegal. You all, I don't know, nobody called, nobody said a word. And so we've got a business there that operates. Some of you have been there and visited. So I was shocked. I called Rick Ramos, my lawyer, real estate lawyer. We have projects in Harlingen, Brownsville, San Benito, Weslaco, San Juan, multiple in FAR, multiple in Edinburgh. So I've been doing this for 30 years. I have no notice. I have none. And so we'll be filing very soon against planning and zoning or the city of Harlingen, just FYI. But you all just can't take my road. I mean, it's there today. I rode on that road here, and this plan, it takes it away. When you look at 10B and look it up, it's on the plan right now. And then if you look at the drawing, when you look at the drawing, it's gone. Somebody should have called. I mean, I've been around long enough and I've gotten plenty of letters we've filed with you all. Letters for liquor consumption and different things like that. So we're familiar, and we get, Cottonwood calls us and says, hey, we got a letter because you're pulling an application and whatnot. So we're familiar with the process. We've been at it a long time. I'm a little surprised. I'll say hi to these people next after the meeting, but I don't know who they are, but it sounds like something. Anyway, just when you look at that and the variance, now just to speak on the variance, I took a quick look at that subdivision that's asking for a variance. That's not the city of Harlingen, okay? The reason Water's Edge exists is because I went to build Pecan Grove in Weslaco. And the city of Harlingen was in a lawsuit against Obra Homes, which was a notorious small lot, small development subdivider. And when I saw that attitude, I circled back and bought that land on Ed Carey and turned it into Water's Edge because of your attitude and because of your outlook towards what you want for Harlingen. But when I saw 40-foot lots, you all need to look at that in another light. Because the pressure that it puts on some of these gentlemen back here, when you've got 40-foot lots, you've got neighbors parking in front of neighbors, just be careful.
Thank you, Mr. Rubiano.
Okay, Mayor, we don't have any more citizens' minutes, so we're going to move on to item 6, the approval of minutes for regular meeting of June 18, 2025.
Already? Is there any amendments? If not, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 7 is consent agenda. No discussion is anticipated on any of the items in this section because they are routine business, were included in the budget adoption process, or have been previously discussed as a staff report or discussion item. These items will be considered collectively by a single vote unless a commission member requests an item be removed from the consent agenda.
I have a question on C. So,
Do you want it removed?
no, I have a question.
Okay.
So that these streets have been approved by the police and by city engineering to have speed bumps? Or is this just
No.
putting them up?
These are putting them up. They're putting them up for
Okay, this
study.
is to put them up. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So is there anything to be pulled? If not, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A through C?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on.
Okay, item 8 is staff reports and other discussion items. Items in this section are not expected to require action by the city commission and are generally for information only. However, any item listed in this section may become an action item at a future meeting with the request of the mayor or after the request of any 2 commission members or the city manager. Item A is city manager's report. Mr. Gonzalez, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
No? Okay, item B is staff reports, and with this, we're going to have a presentation by Chief of Police Alfredo Alvear on the 2025 Harlingen Crime Statistics, Community Events, and collaboration with other agencies.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners and everyone in attendance. Thank you for having us here today. I just want to present on the work the men and women of the police department have been doing these last few months. I want to thank the department, the officers involved in this. It's been a lot of work, and they've been doing a great job. Just want to mention I can't do this by myself, so just realize that everything that's presented today is the result of all the work of the men and women of the department. Can we go to the next slide?
Chief, I think there's a...
There we go. I apologize. Okay, year-to-date on our crime, just want to let everybody know this year we have, since the beginning of January, a 17% decrease in crime overall. I think this is very impactful because it tells us where we're at. This year, 17% is a big deal for us. Keep in mind that this is one of the strategies we use. We use what we call the safer strategies. We report all our crime to the FBI. It's the National Incident-Based Reporting System. What you see here is a map of the, if you see you'll see the yellow, the green, and the red. The red is what we call our hotspots. The blue dots are the enforcement. It's all the police officers and their traffic contacts throughout the city. If you notice, we deploy our units specifically to those hotspots on a daily basis. So that's why you see all the blue dots. Those are all the traffic contacts that the officers are conducting. This is the name of the strategy we're using. It's basically a numbers game. Wherever there's crime, we deploy our police officers. So on violent crime, when we deal with violent crime, we're talking also about crimes against people, against persons. Our robberies are 32% down. Rapes are 33% down. On our homicides, we are listing a homicide this year. It's actually a vehicular accident that caused the death of a pedestrian. And aggravated assaults are down 16%. Our property crimes, these are crimes against persons. Our thefts were down 14%. Arson, we're down 38%. I'm sorry, we're up 38%. That seems like a lot in percentages, but it's actually 3 events. Motor vehicle thefts are down 22%. And burglaries are down 28% compared to last year. This is our bread and butter, and this is where our officers are doing a great job out in the field. Through the data-driven approach, and when I say that, what I mean is we're out in the streets where there's conducting traffic stops or pedestrian contacts. Our numbers are up, our productivity is up 67%. We're talking about our productivity is over 18,000 traffic contacts versus last year, 11,000. So obviously,
Chief, I'm going to interject real quick because I know people are probably following at home, and I know you've been doing such an amazing job, but on the 67% of the increase of traffic stops, just so those that are following along, the men and women of the Harlingen PD aren't citing every single person that they stop.
no, yeah, exactly.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So with this type of enforcement, we are going to be conducting traffic stops on obviously traffic violations, whether it's a stop sign, a failure to signal your lane change, or stopping ahead of the stop sign. The officers are out and about stopping vehicles to find the criminals, right, amongst us. But at the end of the day, they're not citing everyone. At times, we'll have 25 traffic stops and 2 citations. At times, there'll be 30 traffic stops and 4 citations. Keep in mind also that at times some of the numbers can be kind of not deceiving, but if you have a traffic stop with several violations, it'll show 3, 4 citations to one individual at times if they don't have their seat belt and they don't have their insurance, et cetera. But yes, we don't cite everybody, but we do make an effort to stop vehicles that are committing violations. Part of it is education also. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So we have 149 sworn positions. Of those 149, at this time, we have approximately 25, not necessarily openings. We have 10 openings, 9 at the police academy, and 5 in training. So we're probably about 20, 25 officers below that are actually out on the streets or on the field. But like I said, in November, we have about 5 coming over from the field training officer program. And so that'll augment our officers out on the field right now. And we're hiring some officers the next few months, so that should help also.
So it's 100.
Or staffing.
I apologize for interrupting.
Yes, sir.
It's 149 police slots
Yes.
that we have.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and we have 44 civilian that work in records and different divisions in our department that support the police officers. I just want to mention that training is a big part of the police department. We do have a lot of integrated training. We work hand in hand with the police department and EMS. We do have trainings in alert, AAIR, which is Active Attack Integrated Response. This is the active shooter training for fire, police, and EMS. And we work together in training so we can work well if God willing, it doesn't happen, but in case of an emergency, a critical incident like this, we're better prepared. We do have a crime suppression unit. This has been kind of kept very low key, but we have some officers assigned to a crime suppression unit. They don't answer calls for service. They are out and about, and we call it precision patrol, where they dedicate their day to identifying the habitual criminals out in the field and making arrests before the crimes happen. This unit is responsible for 167 arrests, 107 reports, and 769 traffic contacts this year. They're very instrumental in proactive work. We also have a dedicated crime scene unit. We dedicated that unit knowing that we needed to improve our cases that we send for prosecution. And so Detective Yanis is there. He is actually dedicated to the crime scene unit. And so we've committed a police vehicle to the crime scene team and outfitted it with all the equipment they need to respond to a crime scene. We do have a SWAT vehicle that's being delivered soon. It's a Lenco Bearcat. It's an armored vehicle, and we do have a military surplus vehicle that we received about 10 years ago, but it's a little too big for our use. And this Lenco Bearcat is actually a vehicle that can get into alleys and into tight spaces. So it's the size of almost the size of a vehicle, a little larger than a normal vehicle, but it's armored, and it's finally here. Several agencies throughout the valley have one, and I think this is something that was very much needed for our SWAT team.
Chief, is our unit going to look like that?
Yes, that's the Lenco Bearcat.
We're going to have to drive it and make sure it works.
Yeah.
I already called dibs
I think
on that.
yeah, Gabe has dibs on that. We do have our canine units. We have 4 active dogs, and we have 3 that are for narcotics, and we have 1 canine specifically for bombs, can detect bombs. So that they're used throughout the valley also, and we do collaborate with other agencies. We are turning a new leaf on our Crime Stoppers program. Most people call the 425-8477, and I want to personally thank Officer DeLua for being instrumental in keeping that program alive and answering at 2, 4 in the morning sometimes. But we're moving on to a more advanced way of getting Crime Stopper tips, and it's going to be through the P3 app, and we'll be releasing that pretty soon in the next few months. So that's happening. People will be able to either report crimes through their phones on an app, or if they're still using a phone, they can make a phone call and they'll be routed to a call center. We're still an accredited agency. We've been accredited since 2013, I believe. But we're still accredited, and this year we're going up for another accreditation. We've been working a lot with other agencies, and that's one thing that I made sure that we did when I came on board. We've been working with DPS and the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. These are some of the stats we had put out before. An operation with DPS resulted in 1,041 traffic stops, 20 DWI arrests, and 307 citations. So this is a perfect example of the 1,000 traffic stops and only 307 citations. We also worked with TABC, and we found one establishment. After checking 12 establishments, we found one that was out of compliance. And TABC has followed up on that. We also work with other agencies. We have task force officers, and what I mean by that is To multiply our forces, we have we dedicate one officer per agency. So we have an officer with the FBI, one with Homeland Security, one with the Drug Enforcement Agency, and one with the U.S. Marshals. And we have 2 gentlemen assigned to Texas Tropical right now. One of the things I want to mention about Texas Tropical is we respond to a lot of mental health cases. We have over 600, this year we responded to over 600 calls for service involving people in a crisis. So we have a team that goes out with a counselor. It's a police officer and a counselor. And they go out to these incidents and they screen the person. And if they need services, then they're referred to the hospital to get their the service, or hospitals that, to get the services they need. Y'all have any questions on these task forces? We've been reaching out to a lot of the members of our community, businesses, et cetera, and making sure that we keep in touch with our citizens and getting to know them. And, you know, these are some of the things that we've been doing throughout the year. Our youth academy was a hit. We had over 40 kids attend this academy. It was a week-long course in the summer. And that's, you know, that's how we engage with the community. We start with the kids. We have our social media platform is predominantly Facebook, but we also went out and created a podcast. So that's also some way to reach out to the community. Our vision for the future is, here are some of our explorers. Some of them actually are already preparing for their careers. We have a couple of them that are already applying for jobs within our department. We are restarting the bike patrol, and that's something that we've been, I guess, putting in the back burner, but it's starting to happen. We're getting close to getting some training for the officers, and we have the bikes already bikes have already been purchased.
On the bike patrol, Chief, I just want to make sure that these are also going to be patrolling in the trails and in the parks?
The trails, the parks, and downtown area. So the idea is to have an officer that goes out and gets trained on gets the bike patrol training, and while they're out on the streets patrolling during the regular duties, that they can check out for maybe half an hour, jump on the bike and go do some patrols, depending where they're needed.
Fantastic.
Specifically the trails like in the summer.
Just don't get on the city lake where you're not allowed.
Well, they're still working on that. This is an idea, and this is just, so I know that the cost of drones is up there, but we're looking at getting maybe a drone through some grants, hopefully, maybe a drone as a first responder. And this is really exciting because, just as an example, really quick, you can set up a drone, let's say on top of this roof here at City Hall, and we have a critical incident, man with a gun call. That drone can fly to the address, hover over the call for service, and we can view what's happening before the officer gets there. So this is life-saving, and this is also something that not only save lives, but also make our department more efficient. And they run between 50 to 100,000, unfortunately.
Per drone?
Yes, sir.
We have some that cost a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Chief, maybe you can talk to, I might have some.
We do have some. We use them for SWAT operations, and we have used them to our advantage, and they're really good to do debriefs and watch how the guys, you know, how the officers responded to the incident, and you know, just do better next time. Y'all have any questions?
I have if we can go back to the slide about at the white Tahoe on it.
The crime suppression unit?
Walk me through that.
So the idea is that the officers respond on a daily basis to calls for service. Take, for example, B shift, 2 to 10 shift. The officers on B shift go from call to call. And what I mean by that is it's a very busy shift. You can get up to 100 calls for service for a group of 10 to 15 officers. Some are minor calls for service and some are major incidents. But you tie up officers when they're going from call to call. The idea of the crime suppression unit is to have officers that are not taking calls for service. What these officers are doing is they are targeting habitual criminals. So if we know of an area that's high crime, for example, F Street and Fillmore area, that's a high crime area. We dedicate those officers to those areas without interruption, and they're able to conduct surveillance at a distance. They're able to conduct traffic stops without having to go from a call to a call. We're able to dedicate those resources to where they're needed. And they'll stay there stopping cars over and over again until they stop that criminal that needs to be arrested. They did have, like I mentioned, when I say I believe it was 107 arrests, it's very significant because you're talking about some of these individuals that are not going to be committing crimes at night. So if they stop a vehicle, make 2-3 arrests in a car, in a vehicle for drugs, those people are not going to be able to be active that night. And multiply that by the number of times that they're out there conducting traffic stops and making arrests. And it makes an impact.
So we're talking about picking up people who already have warrants and or are committing crimes at the time they're pulled over. You said crimes before they happen, that's maybe a misnomer or whatnot. We would say people who already have a warrant for their arrest and or are committing a crime during the daytime. Is that accurate?
And well, what I mean by that is when this unit goes out and makes a stop on a particular individual, and then let's say they make an arrest for a baggie of drugs, that individual's not going to be able to go commit those other sales. They're not going to be able to make those sales.
Okay.
And so sometimes we're arresting them for a small amount and sometimes for a large amount. But the bottom line is it's making an impact because they're not going further. So that night, they're not purchasing any more drugs. They're not selling any more drugs. And we're finding out who they are. And obviously, we conduct investigations. We debrief them. We talk to them and find out what else is going on in the city. So they're making an impact. And rest assured that they're out there doing their job. But it's very impactful.
Thank you.
So I think this slide is a little, the way that it reads, and so.
I was thinking Minority Report. We're going to have like people, and what do they call precogs and little balls telling us someone's going to murder their wife tonight or, you know.
Well, some of these people that they arrest could possibly be burglarizing a house at night or a business at night.
So having talked to the chief, these officers, it looks like it's this unit, right, like the vehicle, but these officers are really with this mission of the PD of fighting crime, that's their main focus. And it's leading to substantial arrest, and most of the arrests are for things that you want off the street. So yes, people that have warrants, but also people that are with people that have warrants and are committing their own crimes or their own, without going into all of the details of how they're getting it done. It seems to me that there is some preventative measure to it because of the fact that there is this like hyper focus in the areas where they know that they need to be, instead of having to be pulled off in different directions.
So an example of, and just bottom line, our officers that go call to call, if they see a subject walking down the street, that person might draw their attention, but they can't stop for them because they're going to a call for service. And so we don't want to interrupt that officer. So these 4 officers are out and about, they can go address that problem. They can go investigate what that person is doing. And this is I'm talking about at all hours of the day, right? And not just necessarily 2 to 10, we're talking about 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. So these officers also, they're deployed, they move around with the crime. They actually move and I applaud them because they make sacrifices. They come on the weekends and they move with the crime. They're moving with the crime trend.
And they're in uniform and in police.
Yeah, they're not blacked out. There's nothing special about the units they drive. I'll say it freely here, they're driving those marked units, and they're wearing police uniforms. They're not wearing any over tactical looking uniform.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any questions?
I don't have any other questions, but I just want to, congratulate you on doing a phenomenal job. It's been halfway into the year, and that's what we want to see. I think the big takeaway from here is crime in general is down 17%, which is really significant. We do know, and thank goodness our fire department does a phenomenal job. We've seen these fires that have happened in our community, but I'll say I don't think it's just Harlingen. It seems to be, throughout the country, throughout the state for sure, but they're doing a phenomenal job. And 3 is 3 too many, right?
Yes,
but
of
to
course.
see that we have a significant drop in all areas, that just goes to show that what you're doing and what the department doing is working. So we thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, Mayor, we're going to move on to item 9, public hearings, and at this time, we don't have any public hearings. So we're going to go ahead and go into item 10, action items. City Commission will discuss, consider, and take any action deemed necessary on items listed in this section, including the adoption of a resolution or an ordinance. So item 10A reads, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading, amending the City of Harlingen Code of Ordinances, Master Fee Schedule, Chapter 18, by increasing the green fee/cart membership and coupons by 10%. And this is by Gulf.
An ordinance in the City of Harlingen, Texas, amending Chapter 18, Master Fee Schedule of the Harlingen Code of Ordinances by establishing for certain licenses, permits, and other services provided by the City of Harlingen as they relate to Chapter 36, Article 5, Division 2, Tony Butler Golf Course, providing for publication and ordaining other matters pertaining to the foregoing.
So
Motion
moved.
to- Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, item 10B, consideration and possible action to approve a variance to the City of Harlingen Code of Ordinances to allow 1 instead of 2 required entrances for the proposed Horseshoe Pointe Subdivision located in the 3.5-mile ETJ on the south side of Morris Road, approximately 2,095.97 feet southwest of South Ed Carey Drive. And we have planning.
Good evening,
Mark,
Honor.
excuse me,
Yes.
just before we jump in. Due to the threat of litigation that we just had earlier today during the citizen statements, communications, I'd like to see if we can, do you recommend that we have questions based on that comment out here? Or do you recommend that be done in executive session because litigation has been threatened?
I mean, if we want to go into discussions about that, if the commission has any discussions, we can take that up with legal counsel if that's something that the commission wants.
I think a lot of us are going to, at least a lot of my questions are going to be based on the assertions that have been made earlier today. And the last thing I would like is those to be then,
Sure, then those should be taken up in consultation with legal counsel and executive session.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll take a motion to move this to executive session on 10B.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking this item up in executive session. The time is 6:30 PM. Well, we will be back out for the regular item as well in open session. And then the executive session items at the end, we will do at the end to ensure that, those of you that are waiting on us don't have to wait till the very end. All right, thank you. The time is now 7:01 PM, and we are back in open session. If we can We were going to proceed with Ms. Anna with the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. My name is Ana Hernandez. I'm the Planning and Development Director and Special Projects Director. This is a request to approve a variance to the subdivision ordinance, specifically Section 109-124C9, which requires at least two entrances. Or access points that are placed at a designated distance. And so in this area, this subdivision or proposed subdivision development is located in the southwest portion of Harlingen, off of Morris Road. And the proposed entrances along Morris Road are spaced 160 feet apart. And as you can see here on the slide, the two yellow arrows are showing you the two designated access points. And again, the required distance, as required by the subdivision ordinance, should be close to 1,500 feet apart.
And this is 160?
It's 160, yes, correct. And so here's the street view of Morris Road. This is what the future land use plan designates this area, which is, residential. And staff is recommending approval of the variance. We find that due to the site constraints, this variance should be approved.
So what about the safety concerns when you said there's 160 and our ordinance is, say that again?
Yes, the distance?
Yes.
The 160? Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is, right, that's what it said, 160. So, and it looks like based on the drawing or the rendering here, that they're at the same place, like kind of just an entrance and an exit from the same point.
Yes.
When fire went out, I mean, what about emergency services? How is that going to be impacted for this community?
Yes, so just for reference, and this is something that I forgot to mention, so I'm trying to point, so there's a stub out on the west side of the property that it's hopefully will connect to, I guess, up north on the vacant property.
Where is that?
So, I can show it. Here's the future stub out that will connect up north to Morris Road, and so that would help this subdivision meet the distance requirement.
So, but this is going in several phases, right?
Yes, and that's if, if that portion of, I guess, of the development, I guess can you come to explain the situation? The property is currently in probate court, so I wanted to.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Edgar Garcia, Director of Land Development for Melden Hunt. As Ana was mentioning, we have had preliminary conversations with who will be the future owner of that property to the northeast of us. It is stuck in probate. Those take a while. They are open to allowing us to connect.
Yeah, that'll take a while.
They are open to allowing us to connect. It is going to be a public subdivision, so there won't be gates anyways. That is our proposal to meet that second access point or third access point. We're kind of trying really hard to work within the constraints of the property. We're landlocked to the west with Horseshoe Pointe, Water's Edge to the south, and then there's that big property to the east. So we're trying to do what we can, which is why we're also phasing it so that we're able to maximize as we go, and hopefully by that time we have that third access to the northeast.
You're saying this forested land, I drive by Morris Road, there's a sign for some sort of church or something there.
Yahweh, that's the sign.
Okay, and you're saying that all that land's in probate?
That is correct, sir.
So somebody's passed away who owned it, now it's in the court system.
Yes, that would be it.
So how many homes in this phase that you're proposing?
The first phase is around 64, 65? 107? Oh, 107. They changed the limits, yeah, 107.
And then in this land that contingent upon a whole slew of things, would be how many homes?
They haven't come up with their development, but judging by the size of the property, it'd be another 200 probably, depending on how big they or small they want to make those lots.
But there's a potential that it is not something that can be acquired.
Correct.
And then there would be no development.
Yes.
And then you would only have those 2 access points for
That
this
is correct.
development.
Yes, ma'am. And so another thing that I do want to point out, I don't know if it was in their packet, there's what I'm going to call a choke point there towards the southeast portion of Phase 1. Throughout our development, we are proposing 32 feet of paving, but there we're expanding the right-of-way and we're expanding the pavement so that, should it be needed, fire will be able to cross through that point. We're proposing 47 feet of paving instead of the required 32. We can certainly go higher. We're giving 65 feet of right-of-way, so we have that leeway to make it 4 or 5 lanes just to open up there if needed.
And these two proposed entrances, how wide are those streets?
Those are 32 feet, sir.
32 feet. And so ambulance, fire truck, police vehicles can negotiate a 32-foot
Yes, sir.
in and out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I feel more comfortable with 2 entrances, because if one hunk of property that may or may not be developed in the future is hung up in court system, you have no clue what'll ever happen there. And I'm thinking about the safety of the home buyers.
So is there, you mentioned that you're kind of landlocked. Have you approached all landowners to see if there's another opportunity?
So I'm going to read something out. We did approach Mr. Rubiano early on and asked him if he could facilitate a meeting, actually, with the HOA to see if we would potentially try to get access through, there's a sort of a parkland there. His response was negative. So have we tried? Yes, with him specifically.
You're talking about the one that's at Park Bend and Sagamore,
Where would that be? I'm not,
bottom right corner?
yes, yes, sir.
And then, as you heard earlier, there was an allegation that, what's that street called?
New Hampshire.
New
New Hampshire. New Hampshire, do you own the land that New Hampshire was going to be on?
New Hampshire, we would have had to dedicate our share of New Hampshire. There is already a portion that is dedicated. As with any subdivision, we go through the process P&Z, and we are proposing to get a variance so that we don't have to dedicate our portion of New Hampshire. We have been in talks with Planning and Zoning. They were already going to do some work on their thoroughfare plan. They were already thinking about eliminating New Hampshire. But obviously, we can only do what is within our property. We can't touch anybody else's property, sir.
So someone had already dedicated land to New Hampshire?
On the east side, yes, sir.
Okay, who?
The property that's subdivided right now, I believe it's that big home, I guess.
Okay, just that house with the long backyard?
Yeah, that's one property, sir.
Okay, and so they dedicated a portion of their land to,
That would be my assumption. Every time you subdivide, you're supposed to give a percentage or a portion of the right-of-way for the streets, especially if they're in a thoroughfare plan, which New Hampshire is in City of Harlingen's thoroughfare plan.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
So you said that a portion of yours was already dedicated, and now you're asking for a variance? Did I
No,
catch
ma'am.
that right?
We would be requested to dedicate our share. And as part of the subdivision process, we would request a variance from that so that we don't dedicate our share, but it's not dedicated yet.
But based on the rendering, it appears that it's moving forward as if you have already been granted that variance.
So that is a proposal. We have not gone to preliminary subdivision. So P&Z, for the benefit of the public, P&Z has not approved anything. City Commission has not approved that either. The item up today is not approving that either, just to be clear. to the public. I'm sure you guys understand that. But yes, what we are proposing is to not dedicate it. You'll see that variance in the future sometime.
So as of right now, there's no road there. It's just dirt.
It's my understanding. I know Mr. Durano mentioned he had a road there, but there's dedication for it.
But right now, it's just dirt.
Sure, I don't drive by there too much. Is there a road? Is there a paved road there? Nope. Nope.
No.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
I have a question. That little narrow area that I believe you said would be, go from 32 to 47 feet?
Yes, sir.
That's that very narrow.
Mhm.
And you're going to develop some more south of that, correct?
Correct.
And everybody, once it's all developed, all of that's going to go use those two entrances that connect to Morris Road, correct?
Correct.
And if we have a fire and people start to panic, we're going to be up the creek, correct?
I believe and I am confident in the Harlingen Fire Department.
If there's a bottleneck, I can see people panicking. And that's my fear.
Okay.
How much is the average home in your subdivision going to be?
They're going to be about 325,000, and there's 390 lots, so about $125 million. Quick math.
So what, I'm just going to be real, frank with you. I want to see the development happen. I think that we need housing in all different price points. I think that, it is, the future for that land is so that way that it could be developed. But I have some major reservations when it comes to safety. And ask anyone in this community, they'll tell you that I think the world of the fire department. I think that they're doing an amazing job, but this isn't about having the best fire department. It's about access. If your guys can't get in, then if something happens, then it's on this commission. So, 160 feet apart, and they're basically right next to one another, and that's your entrance and your exit. I'm trying to understand how we can move forward responsibly, knowing that is a big concern for future home buyers. Is there another way? You say that you're landlocked, but how can we help you? But in a different, and I'm just speaking for myself.
Yes.
I'm not sure what this commission's going to do. How can we help you make sure that we're able to, you're able to develop this, but there has to be another access point. Is it go back to these owners? Because Mr. Rubiano is one.
Correct.
Of three, is that right?
Yes.
So what about the other two? Have you approached them?
As far as I know, no, ma'am.
So is that something that you can do? I want you to be successful. We want you to, we want, you did great work in other areas, and we want to ensure that we're pro-development. I think that everybody here wants to see more opportunities for home ownership. People keep saying affordable homes, but affordable homes continue to change depending on, where we are today. 2025 versus when I first bought my first home back in like 2007, that I couldn't afford a $300,000 home, and it wouldn't have been affordable, right? But it's not about that. It's about making sure that everybody has opportunities at home ownership in our community. So is there a reason why you haven't approached the other landowners?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I came in just for the civil design, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
Certainly something that I can bring up to the property owners,
Mhm.
but that's where we're at right now.
So I'll just let you know that I don't feel comfortable because of public safety. I don't know if it's something that you want if you had the choice for this commission to move forward on this item or to give you opportunity to answer those questions, which would you prefer?
I would say let's go for a vote. I mean, we are trying to annex this property as well, and so, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to do something quality for Harlingen. We believe it is. As you mentioned, Mayor, we have done other good quality work here in Harlingen. I think we'd prefer to be within the city limits of Harlingen, but we'll have to reassess should the vote go somewhere other way.
So I'll repeat, I'm for this project and the two entrances and the theoretical third or fourth down the road when the court system clears this. And there's somebody who wants to build out that property.
Are we done with your question?
Is that a
We're
question?
coming?
I think
I'm
you-
sorry, I literally thought you were like, I apologize.
We're waiting on you.
Oh,
So more
I'm
of a
sorry.
statement than a comment,
Yeah.
and a question. Okay.
Do you have the cause number in that probated case? Because I'm looking it up by the property owner name, and I can't find it. Because I pulled up the property owner through CAD.
Mhm.
I'm doing a public portal search through the county clerk's office, and I don't find any estate case.
No, I don't know it off the top of my head.
It's just that those are, that could take,
Yes.
that could take a decade.
You know how lawyers are.
We don't even.
Yes,
Or it could be something that is, I mean, it's just hard to say. I don't know. Commissioner, does anyone have any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Wait, is this a Mark has to read this?
No, this is a variance. So
Okay.
just to be clear, this is a variance to allow, and let me, thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm going
yes,
to
of
talk to
course.
Anna just for a moment, thank you. Anna, you said staff recommends, and what's the basis of this recommendation from staff, other than the development will not go forward unless this is
No,
done?
I think it's mostly the site constraints. If you think about it, like, I know the thoroughfare plan conversation kind of has gone sideways a little, but I just want to emphasize that even though the New Hampshire imaginary line, based on the thoroughfare plan, that line basically dead-ended on the back of that River's Edge property. So it's not that it's something that we could continue in. And so that's why it was recommended to remove it. And we do that all the time, so there's lines that, they were proposed many years ago. In this case, it was 2014. And so for some reason, when River's Edge was developed, they were not required to give
Water's Edge,
that
right?
access.
Water's
Water's Edge,
Edge.
I'm sorry. And so they were not required to give that access for some reason. I'm not sure why, but they should have, because even though other people are dedicating New Hampshire, eventually it dead ends. If we want to continue that, I mean, we could. But based on this development, I mean, it makes no sense to require them to dedicate.
I understand that part, and I do have some reservations on that end too, but that's not what's before us today. What's before us today is the variance, and the variance to have two access points, basically right next to one another. You come in, instead of just coming and going in the same area, there you got 160 feet between, and that is probably, we need 10 times that amount to meet our ordinance. And so I would like to think that our ordinances are established for the purpose of safety and the concerns of the development. My question to you is why the recommendation from staff to adopt this ordinance? Nothing to do with New Hampshire, just the fact to come in and out of the subdivision in that fashion.
But it goes back to the site constraints. That's the only way they can enter and exit. And so I think they're doing, based on the geography of the site, that's the best they can do as far as entrances.
But now
exit
that
points.
you've heard that there are multiple property owners that could have been approached and haven't been approached, is staff's recommendation still the same?
I think my understanding was that they had approached other property owners, and that was not an option. That was off the table. So I think, yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be at this point, if you really want to explore that, I think we should table the item. And maybe they can be given time to approach, other property owners.
I agree. I was for it to begin with, but then now that I know that they haven't even approached the other property owners, that's like, kind of leaving cards on the table.
So based on staff's recommendation, I'm going to make a motion to table, to provide opportunity to staff to reach out, and those are the concerns that I have. And I would like to see a memorandum from the fire department telling me that they're giving the green light on this and the reasons why. And if so, then maybe we need to go back and look at our ordinance. Is it overly restrictive? Because then that's not fair to every other future developer. But if you approve this, then you are setting a precedent for every other development that comes before us that says, hey, you did it here, we want you to do it here too. And so I think public safety is my number one concern, and I think it should be for everyone else. So I have a motion to table.
If I may say one more thing, and if you look at the map, it's a very narrow
Right.
piece of property on Morris Road. And so I really believe in the two entrances for safety's sake, but I will second tabling this.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 10C. It's consideration and possible action to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Schneider Electric with the revisions requested. We have Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Christopher Torres, Public Works Director, for the record. So back in August, we approached you all with a presentation from Schneider to do a lot of improvements to our public buildings, right? You all requested for us to include a lot more buildings and parks. We actually met with Danny, our Parks Director, and Schneider, and came up with a plan to attack every single building and park the city of Harlingen maintains, right? And so they're here to kind of give you that update.
Chris, based on those revisions that you mentioned earlier, and Mark as well, I know you and I had discussions that there were concerns. Do those revisions address your concerns?
Yes, sir.
Completely?
Completely.
Mark?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Gonzalez, Aaron Garcia for the record, and on the Zoom, we have Ryan Wonder. He's joining me through Zoom. He's the gentleman you guys met last time. He's our project development engineer. So last time we were here, as Chris mentioned, you had asked us to include a few more buildings and some additional scope of work. So we've done that, and I'm going to just go to that page that has the buildings.
Aaron, I think the big question that I have, just right off the bat, option one, it's self-funded. Option two, is it self-funded?
Option two, no. It would, I believe, everything else would, we're estimating that it would be covered by 33 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
So.
So we'd have to pay the other 77 cents.
Yeah. Now, what we're going to do is, together with the city staff, is put together a good plan, come back with recommendations based on these buildings and the scope of work that's been identified that we talked about. We'll come back with a 30% development. And at 30%, we can narrow down and prioritize. At 60%, we still got the option to narrow and prioritize. So when we get to the 90%, we're all on the same page that, hey, that's the scope of the work that we want to move forward with. And we'll be back. At that time, we'll have project cost, what the guaranteed savings, what it will cover for that project that you've chosen at that time, whether it's just a self-funded project or it could be, that amount that we figured in option one is still the option one, but then you might have some scope of work that's priority that you need to do something about it, that you might make a decision, hey, you want to include that as part of this project to move forward with.
Okay, so today's just to tell us we have more work to do.
Yeah, so the next phase, I mean, what we did in this phase is a very high-level assessment. And so this next phase is actually the engineering development phase. So just like if you'd brought in an architect to come in and start designing a project. We're going to start designing the scope of the work, developing it, and coming together with the city to come up with the best project to address the deferred maintenance that you have, along with the addressing areas that there are improvements to bring energy, water conservation type opportunities to the city as well.
And that scope of work, whatever that cost is going to be, is going to roll over or roll into whatever that final dollar amount is.
That's correct.
And how much is that scope of work going to cost us?
This phase of work is $57,000 for the design phase, and all it is just a commitment from the city at this point. So when we get to the 90% and we come back and present the 90% to move forward into that, to implement that project, if the city decides we don't want to do anything at all, well, that $57,000 is really just to recoup our cost, and that's really a small portion of what we'd be recouping, because there's a lot more work involved. It's just, in this phase, we want to make sure that the city's committed to doing, moving forward.
Perfect. Now I make a motion to approve us proceeding forward with the scope of work, pending the fact that Chris and Mark have given the green light on the language.
Second. Commissioner, can I just ask him to do something real quick? Before, would it be possible to identify what buildings are in option one? Or what projects you plan to do, just so we know what's going to be self-funded?
Yeah, Ryan, I'm going to probably ask Ryan to see if he can chime in there, but.
Well,
option one-
not right now, but when you put
I got
together
you.
the proposal, yeah.
Yeah, when we come back
Yeah,
with at
yeah.
30%, you definitely will, we should be able to tell you, this could be your option one that's fully self-funded.
Okay.
And.
Yeah,
and-
I don't need to see it now, just whenever you have your projections.
Okay, yeah, we're going to look at all the buildings and come back with
All
what
right.
makes sense.
Thank you,
And
Commissioner.
if we can include that the library definitely be an option one,
Sure.
public library. All right, so I make that motion, whoever's the
So-
second.
I think we already have a
Commissioner
second.
Kinsey.
Yeah, I have a question. I had a question. So, what we approve right now, we are still going to come back, so we're not deciding which one we're going with right now, option 1 or 2.
Correct.
Yeah, we're just,
And those are just budget numbers that we've given on a high level. I mean, so in this phase, when we get into this next phase, we'll have more accurate.
you'll give us more information before we actually choose.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Before we vote, one question. Are you going to be checking the electrical meters to make sure they're all functioning correctly? Is that going to be part of the service?
No, to check if they're, that would be probably going to AEP to see if the meters are functioning accurately. I mean, we might catch, like, hey, there's some inconsistencies in while we're in this audit that could alert us to, hey, there might be an issue at this meter, but we'd have to call AEP to actually check that meter.
The reason I'm asking is a while back, the previous commission, we had an option of having a consultant that for $26,000, which I would say it's a penny for millimeters or whatever the heck it was. Their number one objective was to check and verify that every meter that the city was being charged, one worked and it belonged to the city. That was part of that. And this year, we're gonna drop 57,000, and you're gonna check for these and not the meters. So I question that.
So once we get into the final phase and we're in the construction phase, there's a yearly measurement and verification that's involved. So to make sure that we're hitting the mark of the savings. So during that measurement and verification period, we are getting all the bills on a monthly basis from the city. So our measurement and verification team will be looking at that, and if we find some areas that we have concerns about, we definitely make the city aware of that. And we've caught that before. This Kingsville ISD had an issue that we caught for one of their meters that was not measuring correctly, and they got a refund back from AP. I think it was like $250,000 because it was several years that they had. But that part of what you're asking for is looked at later on. Once we've already completed the project and a year out, every month, we're getting the bills, we're, on a quarterly basis, we're reviewing those bills, and then we'll be able to highlight and give some recommendations to the city on whether we see some inconsistencies. But that's, I think what you're referencing is the retail electric provider consultants. They usually do that as an extra service in their contracts.
And I think you were part of that. You were one of the consultants back then.
Not for the retail electric energy side of it, no.
I might be wrong.
So Frank, help me understand. You're talking about electric meters.
Correct. And we're looking at because I thought it was the same, I thought Schneider Electric threw in a bid to be a consultant 3 years ago, more like 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So that's where my confusion lies.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of that we go after retail electric provider type contracts, no. I mean, that is something that we do, but that's nothing involved in this project or none of the ones that I've been involved with.
So
Okay.
you're talking electric meters.
Correct.
What about electric meters?
All right, gentlemen, we're like veering off topic, and let's
I'm
stay
trying to
on.
understand.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with this agenda item, but maybe that's something if y'all want to put on another commission meeting, we can address it at that time. Thank you so much for being so incredibly patient with us. We already have a motion and a second, and can we, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 10D is consideration possible action to authorize the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation to grant $50,000 to Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement for fiscal year 2026 to benefit Harlingen residents. And this item was tabled on the last city commission of September 17, 2025.
Honorable
So
Mayor,
I'll make a motion to remove this from being tabled and put back into play.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. It is now off the table. Orlando?
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, we are bringing to you once again the funding request from VIDA for a grant of $50,000 that would target 10 Harlingen residents to receive training support as part of their program. This item was approved by our Board of Directors. And at the last City Commission meeting, when we brought this item, I know that several of you had a few questions regarding the program related to the ROI as well as the exact amount of funding that went directly to the students themselves. So we have invited Mr. Isidro Ramos, who is here today, to provide more feedback and answer any additional questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to come in and be able to respond to our proposal earlier last month in the regular scheduled meeting for the EDC. My name is Isidro Ramos. I am the Director of Workforce and Economic Development. With me is my colleague, Honesty Martinez. She is the Compliance Manager with VIDA. And I'm here on behalf of our President and CEO, Felida Villarreal, who is unable to attend tonight. We are very pleased to continue our partnership with the Harlingen EDC and with the city altogether to be able to continue our comprehensive assistance to our residents here in Harlingen to be able to cultivate a continued skilled workforce pipeline to be able to assist the mission of the EDC to be able to have a talented workforce for the area industries and growing businesses. I'm here to answer any questions from our previous 3 years and be able to, in our contracting here with the city and the EDC. So at this time, I'm available for any questions.
So I don't see it here on these additional sheets that were provided, but my concern.
And Mayor, pardon me, I do have some updated packets if you don't have those with you yet.
I have it.
Okay, and you do have, okay, great.
Is this what you're?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess what I wanted at the last meeting, and my apologies if it is here and I'm not seeing it, but I just wanted kind of a breakdown. It looked like out of the 50,000, I want to say maybe 7 to 10,000 of that was for like administrative cost. And so I wanted to know what that was for. And it wasn't going directly to the students?
Yes. So our breakdown for funding is 15% is admin, 30% is programming, and 40% is training.
15% is admin?
Yes, that's correct.
And then 40% is for the students?
Correct,
40% is for the students?
for training.
Training, and then the other was what, I'm sorry?
30% is program.
Okay, can you tell me, just,
Yeah, sure.
what
So,
does that mean?
so program is essentially our case managers and any data, our compliance manager, quality director, myself. So program is basically the nuts and bolts of the services that we're providing. So it's all of our administrative staff to be able to deliver the services to our participants. And then the 40%, that's your tuition, your tools, your support services to our participants.
Okay, so then what is admin then, if that's,
So admin, yes, so admin is going to be essentially, and that, by the way, is standard across the board for any grants, any nonprofits, any government, is going to be your director, our president, CEO, and it's going to be, so if you look at our administration, you have directors, you have compliance, and that's going to be the 15%. Okay, so to clarify.
I'm just a little confused because I just want to, and maybe I'm not asking it correctly. So it looks to me if the EDC is providing $50,000 of a grant, that $20,000 is going towards students, and the remainder would go towards, 30,000 would go towards management, case management, and admin.
Right, so, correct.
right?
So,
So yes. Okay.
so just for some more finer points and clarification for the 15%, 30, and 40, right?
Yes, sir.
So the 15% is going to be all your director positions, okay? Your 30% is going to be your counselors, your outreach specialists, intake, right? That's going to be your program. And then you have your 40%, which is all your services that are going out to the participants. However, I want to point out that the 30%, which involves a lot of the case managers, is also part of that service, and it's part of that expenditure.
So the 20,000 that goes to the students, this is to provide them tuition assistance, to buy them, help them with books, help them with transportation, everything to set them up for success, yes?
Correct, directly to the student.
And then so that's 20,000, but 30,000, which is more than half, goes towards the program of VIDA to kind of, for its operational cost, and then
For
15%.
A lot of it with the counselors. So our counselors are out there meeting with our students on a weekly basis, right? And that's providing a lot of that support, a lot of that motivation to ensure that our students graduate on time.
So more than half is going to, because I don't see the difference, is administration. All of it's administration in a way. So more than half, so administration is getting more than the students.
No.
That's what I'm trying, because you get 30%, then you're saying it's the counselors and stuff, and then you're saying it's 15%. So am I not understanding? Because to me, that sounds like a lot.
Right. So when you look at the services that are being delivered to the student and you put a dollar amount, right, for the case management, we could probably break that down a little bit more. But if you add the part of the 30%, if we want to break that down, I don't have a number for you at the moment, but that would go more towards the student services, right? So part of the program, it's part of the 30%, is part of the 40%. Does that make sense? Because remember, the 40% is total student support. That's tuition, books, childcare, transportation. That's directly to the student. But now we need to deliver that, right? We need to be able to support the student, which is our case managers. our case manager paid out of the program, which is a 30%. So we can't necessarily say that it's only 40% going, because then it's not, we don't just cut checks and it goes to the colleges. We have to be able to deliver that service and to assure that our students who graduate on time, they have that support, you know, the case management, the counseling, the guidance, right? That's part of that tuition. Does that make sense? So it's not just 40%, it's 40% in addition to the services that are provided. Our case management and counseling, career guidance, advisement, that is really the backbone of our services when you look at what we do. And if you were to compare our case management and career guidance services to any other social, even colleges, you don't find that anywhere. Now, what makes it a little bit here very advantageous for our students is that we meet with them on a weekly basis. We meet with our students on a weekly basis throughout the duration of their program to assure that they have that level of support. So life happens, right? You know, things happen at home, things happen at work, things happen with school. They have that immediate support to encourage, to motivate, to look beyond that challenge, to be able to continue and stay focused on completing their program on time.
So you are literally holding their hand week by week to ensure their success and graduation.
You could put it that way.
I just did.
You could put it that way, yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you pop up to the podium, please?
So, and I hate to really harp on this, but that was my question, and I assume that the numbers, you would have that, so that way because if it's going to assist the student, then I'd like to know how. We recognize that there's, you know, in a nonprofit, you're going to have additional cost, but 15%, and you say those are like your CEO and things like that. Okay, so that I understand that goes to pay the salaries of
Accounting, right.
yeah, so that's 15%. And then the remainder between tuition and programming. So how many, like, what are we talking about?
So we didn't bring a budget because we weren't aware that that's exactly what y'all were requesting.
I figured. Sorry.
Y'all were requesting student outcomes.
Yes, in
So
addition.
we can send y'all a detailed budget, but it's not higher. It's not what he's saying, because I'm looking at, like, I can give you an example. We have another city who funds us $150,000. And out of that, for training and direct program, $127,500 goes to direct training and program. And for general and administrative costs, it's $22,500.
So it sounds to me that the EDC could say, we want to give you 50,000 VIDA, but we want all of this money to go to students, and then you would honor that. But if we don't earmark, then you have this breakdown. Is that right?
Well, it's always going to have, yeah, it has a breakdown, but it's not where less goes to the students, like what y'all are thinking. So what we need to do is.
Well, that's what you just said.
What's that?
That's what not, I want to just be clear. So the way that I have it is that out of the 50,000, 20,000 goes to students. That's not.
No, that's not correct. We can send you a breakdown.
Okay.
Like I said, we didn't bring that, and I don't have where I emailed Harlingen, so I was looking for the breakdown. I gave you an example for another city that does fund us $150,000, so those are the numbers that we go by. I don't have the city of Harlingen on my phone, so I can't give you the exact breakdown, so I don't want to give you wrong numbers.
Sure.
However, it's not to where only 20,000 out of the 50 go to the students. It's a wrong calculation. Yeah,
No, I'm saying.
But we can send you the breakdown.
Okay. So just for clarification for me, are all of these, you know, so you said another city or another organization, do they each have their individual breakdown, or do you just have it like, you know, a policy in place where all of the funds that you get are distributed in one fashion, or is it different per school or per city, per EDC, or any other potential donations?
So So it depends on the benchmark that we have and the amount that they agree to give us. But for the most part, the breakdown is the same for each city. For the most part, there are some funders where we have to meet, like they tell us, okay, we're gonna fund you 150,000, but we want you to put in, this amount as well. And whatnot, like, for example, with y'all are giving us 50,000 to educate 10 students. And we did send y'all a breakdown for the past 3 years. So in the past 3 years, y'all gave us 150,000 to educate 30 students, but we've educated 48 students because we do have that braided funding. So not only are we meeting the benchmark that y'all are giving us, but we're surpassing it by educating more people.
What does that mean, braided funding?
It just depends, because if we have, right now we have a grant from a federal grant. So they want us to educate allied health. So if we have some more students in Harlingen that are applying to be an ADN or an LVN, we can give them funding from this other source as well.
So the monies that are provided from EDC cover that amount, but then where you go above that number is through a federal grant?
It depends on the applicant. Each case is individual based. So like you say, holding their hand, not necessarily, but we do case management, because if you look at the persistence rate for colleges, so to speak, they're very low compared to our persistence rate. Our persistence rate, I believe this year was at 98%, and we're educating over 800 students this year. So it just, it's a lot of, we don't only help them with tuition, with books, with uniform. There's times that they're having to drop. Our success stories at the end of the year. We had one student that, our counselor was talking to her, and she ended up meeting up with her in a parking lot, and she saw that her vehicle was full of household items, clothes, and she asked her, what's going on. Found out that she was, gonna quit school because she had no choice. She had ended up homeless. So then we went and we made a connection with, what was the name of that place? It's a housing place that it assists students who are going to school. So we were able to assist her with housing, to get her into housing, and because of that, she did finish school, and she was able to become an ADN. I'm not sure what city it was for, but these are the type of things that we do for our students to ensure that we do have student success.
It's fantastic.
I'd like to pull back the numbers here real quick, and I'm sorry, I do apologize for this. Those numbers didn't add up to 100%. I don't know if anybody added
Yes.
that up.
I did.
We're missing 5.
Okay, all right. So it is 50% is support services,
50, 50?
50%.
50?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
35% is program, and 15% is admin. Okay? So just-
50,
Yeah, 50, 35, and 15
okay. So 50 is support services.
is direct services.
Direct
Services, yeah, support services.
So
Supports.
that goes straight to the student.
Okay, so that's tuition,
Books,
books,
childcare,
gas, all the
transportation.
stuff that, okay. And that's called support services?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then 35% goes to
Program.
programming or program, and a program is
The delivery of
case
services,
manager.
Case management. Mhm.
And how many case managers per student? It's just like they have their own, or they see a different one? Like, do they have an advisor? Or do they have someone that they see all the time?
Yes.
Yes,
They
the
have
same.
an assigned case manager. Each one of our case managers has 80 to 100 students at a time, depending on, as they graduate, they fall off, and then they get new ones. And then we have our case managers at the different campuses. We have some of them at STC, some of them are at UCRGB, TSTC, TSTC, different locations.
Okay. And so program is case managers.
Case management.
And then the 15% is,
Admin, accounting, and directors. And Mayor, I also wanted to point out, and Honesty made the point, but I wanted to make that point a little bit more clear. And that is on this one-pager that you have that represents the past 3 years that we've been in contract with the EDC. I think it's a very good note to take that we've been contracted to serve 10 participants per year. So to date, it's been 30. And in the same contract year, we've served 48. Okay. So I think it's to add a little bit more to that. When we get our contracts with our funders, we leverage that funding source with other grants. So we are essentially, so we're talking about ROI, right? You are essentially almost doubling the investment that you're making just through other leverage resources that we get, which is grants through the state, foundation grants, and sometimes even just outright donations. So this allows us to serve an additional, not just in general residents, but Harlingen residents. So we're able to take your money and almost double it by being able to serve additional Harlingen residents. So that right there is an immediate win just through the leverage dollars that we get from, that we leverage against the city of Harlingen. So I think it's an important point, and also the persistence rate, which is another key point in the services that VIDA provides. If you compare that to college persistence rates or even graduation rates, our persistence rate is 92%. If you look at our graduation rate, it's up in the 86%. When you look and compare that, and not to batch, right? But I think we're looking at facts. If you look at college graduation rates, they're in the 46 to 49% graduation. Ours is at 6%, and the hand-holding is what gets us to that graduation and persistence rate. Yes, sir.
But also with universities, it may take students 5 or 6 years to graduate. And depending on the university, the graduation rate is 90-some% or far, far, far less, depending on the school. And I'm going to repeat, you're holding their hands to ensure their success. These are not, I'm just going to guess, these are not 4.0 high school students who turned down a scholarship to Cornell or Stanford. But these are people who struggle throughout their youth and early adulthood, and their families struggle too. And this is a way of holding the bat with them so they could hit a home run. And they could become educated, get that piece of paper, and get a job. And contribute to their own success in life and contribute to society's success.
I like that. We hold the bat with them.
And just this.
And I'm telling you because I worked 2 and 3 jobs in college and I had Pell Grants. And I appreciate helping students wherever I can.
the only thing I think is that you do assist in all of the, at UTRGV, at all the different, so this isn't vocational training that y'all provide, it's support services to help these kids go to the university or community college or get a skill training, but the focus is on allied health, based on what I see here, right? The 65% are in the allied health fields?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
And
So
we,
This is overall and for 3 years, but the current one, which I have right here, like this year, just for the 50,000 that y'all are discussing right now.
Uh-huh.
The benchmark was 10, and as of today, we have 37 to date. So not only have we doubled, we've more than tripled the amount of the people that we've served, or that we're serving, and our persistence rate is 97%, 37 those who have graduated, have an average salary reported of $46,280.
Did you provide that to us?
This was the one that we sent y'all, that when it was tabled, I believe, but then they requested one for 3 years, which is the one I sent y'all, but I have a copy right here. And I have also the breakdown if you'd like that.
That's in this one, isn't it?
So I have one more question, and then I think Daniel had some questions on the individuals that you were helping, right? So my question would be, what is the average assistance that you provide a student? I know you know, what is the average financial assistance gone to a student on average?
So that can range, obviously, on a case by case,
For
but it's going
EDC.
to be,
For Harlingen EDC?
I would have to, that's something we would actually have to go break down, and the reason being is because we have individuals that we train with industry recognized credentials, which is electricians, right? So they do training for about a period of 2 months. And after about 2 months, like this last cohort that we had trained, and they're from all areas, right? And we had classes in Brownsville and in McAllen. After they did their training for less than 2 months, we got them a job, right? Because we also do placement, and they were earning $56 an hour, $56 an hour. And then, but we don't spend as much, we don't invest as much in their credential as we do for our nurses. So for our nurses, that's where our investment is, what, up to 14?
it's between 3,000 to 4,000 per semester.
So I guess I'm just trying to, and I'm sorry, I maybe what I could have done is sent some questions to EDC so that they could have sent them to you, so you could be prepared for the questions. But I'm just trying to figure out I'm sorry, and I'm just having a very long day. I think first and foremost, this goes without saying, I think that the mission for VIDA and all of the hard work that you've done is evident in the success stories that we have heard. So I have no doubt that you're doing great work. So I hope none of these questions make you feel like I'm diminishing any of the work that you're doing. Absolutely not. I'm just concerned with the allotment from EDC. We want to make sure that it's going to students. And the reason I say this is because, I know earlier you mentioned something to the effect that that's how all nonprofits do. Well, that's not technically accurate. And then in addition to that, we said governments too. Well, we know that this government, it doesn't, operate in that fashion in certain grants that we have been beneficiaries of. And there is a breakdown, and they're all different, to your point, that it just depends on, who the demographic you're serving, what type of services that you're providing. So I get that could be different in all circumstances. But when I'm looking at the breakdown of $50,000, and based on the representation here, it would be $25,000 dedicated to students. And the maximum amount, if all being equal, would be $2,500 per student. So this is what you're talking about with the braided funding, where you only have from Harlingen EDC $2,500 to invest in this one student, but this one student needs $5,000. That's where you get from your federal grant to assist this student and from Harlingen. And the reason why you're able to do that is because EDC is providing you some funding, and then you're looking for the rest. Is that accurate? Or I'm trying to understand how you're getting to the student and getting them where they need to be successful.
Right. No, so yes and no. Yes, in the sense that we're going to provide that student whatever needs he or she has before them to be able to complete successfully, right? And no, if we don't have the funding, then we have our additional grants that we're able to pull from, or additional foundation grants that we're able to pull from to be able to assist. But I think when we look at the sheer number of people we've served, right? We're contracted to serve 10. We're not saying we can only serve 10 because we were limited to the 50,000 that the state is giving us. we're able to serve 37, right? So we're able to serve 27 more because we have additional funds that are coming into the organization to be able to share and continue that service for those additional 27 individuals. So, you know, the answer is yes and no, because we're servicing more, so we're not limiting the dollars that we're getting only from the EDC to the 10. We're expanding because we have more funds to provide. But we are able to go off and leverage other grants through the 50,000, right? So we're able to apply for these other grants and say, hey, look, we're bringing seed money. We got 50,000 here that we're able to seed. Can you give us more so we can help more people on our mission? And with that, we're able to get serve an additional 27 Harlingen residents.
Yeah, because if you do the math, like you're giving us 50,000 and the benchmark is 10, which is 5,000 per student, and we serve 37. So if you do the 37 at 5,000 a piece, that's $185,000. So you're more than tripling your money in retrospect.
For the residents of Harlingen.
Here's, FYI, I see this page 5, it's a Harlingen EDC projected budget. For 50,000 under training and direct programming expenses, we have 42,500. For general and administrative costs, 7,500, which means that's your 15%. And total, that 42.5 and 7.5, that's our 50,000. Is that accurate? Okay, so from there, from that 42.5, 50% is going to go directly to tuition and so on down the line, correct? And another 35% will go to the case managers and the counselors that make sure and secure these students get over the hump and they finish. In the meantime, all of this 50,000 is going to be leveraged depending on the case manager, depending on the student, what you can come up with on grants or other funding to increase that. I do understand the fact that some of these electricians can pop out within a month. If everything works out, they're done. Allied Health, yes, I sold many books. That takes time. And that's where they need a little bit more funding. But you're leveraging everything with this 50,000 to do 10 students, you're coming up with 37, which is a little bit better than, that return on investment is significant. So I don't have an issue with what you're trying to do. I'm all for it. But I don't know if that explains it.
Yeah, that's what that's what we went over. It was 50% goes to support services, 35% goes to the case management, and 15% to the admin costs. So that's the breakdown that they provided us. And I understand it, and I get what you're saying, that you're trying to utilize this funding and then it's not sufficient funding. So you have other buckets of funding, whether it be federal grants or donations or what have you, to participate and ensure that those dollars can be utilized for Harlingen citizens, because I'm sure if another community provides money, you're not braiding that money with Harlingen because that's been earmarked for their community. So I get that. Thank you for that. Did you have any questions, Danny?
Just a couple real quick. Regarding graduates seeking employment, you have some clients that are like 2023, 2024 that they graduated. Any issue or any reason why they haven't found employment?
We actually, what I did today is I started kind of going into the case notes and looking. And I know on 2 of them, I did find out that they were working, but it's the person who enters the information into Apricot. She's just not up to date, so I can ask them to update this list so we can send it to you. So this is just a live database. They just haven't gone in there, and because we do go in there every 30, we go in there 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and we do a follow-up up to 3 years.
Okay.
So we just have to
In
update.
TSTC, right? TSTC,
Right?
they get paid not when the student shows up, but when the student graduates and is employed. Then the state will reimburse them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you need to keep track of that.
Yeah. And you know, just to add on TSTC, 2 years ago, we got a grant, nurse expansion grant, a $4 million grant from Department of Labor, where we were able to award TSTC $275,000 and for 2 years for them to be able to hire an additional faculty for them to help us with training more nurses. And since then, they were able to hire that additional staff and have trained an additional 47 nurses, LVNs in their program. So we're very happy about that partnership. And that's an example of where these leverage dollars come into play in the community. And TSTC is a perfect example where they were able to gain that additional faculty through these grants that we go after.
And I have my master's in nursing,
Oh, do you?
nurse practitioner. And I have seen people enter as LVNs and then become RNs. It takes time and effort and dedication, but I've seen it happen.
Well, you guys are just doing God's work. Thank you so much for this. This is the information I requested. If in the future you guys can just keep including it every year, I look forward to our continued partnership.
So I'll make a motion to authorize the EDC to grant $50,000 to VIDA fiscal year 2026 to benefit Harlingen residents.
Second.
I just have one comment, and I know I'm belaboring this, but I agree with everything with Daniel and Mike and in our comments, and can hope for a continued partnership. And obviously, EDC they've got a great board, and they've already recommended approval. So this is just further information for us to consider. But I would highly encourage the EDC to look at the request and to, if it's possible, to have more of the dollars going towards students, directly to the students, and not half of it going towards case management or admin costs. And I think that maybe there's a potential to allocate even more funding if it's going directly to students. But I just, that's the only thing, is just having the city go through all of these grant applications that we've gone through, and being able to be beneficiaries of certain grants because we put that number at that number, the amount going directly to the beneficiaries higher is where you're scored higher. And so I just would like to see if we can, if that's a recommendation to the board in the future moving forward. And not just with VIDA, I'm just in all grants we want to be able to help folks get into the workforce, then we need to be able to give that money directly to them.
Mayor, just to take your point, 50% or more, or full 100%?
I think that's something for them to look into, to see what's reasonable. We understand that there's cost. It's just the 50, half of it going to the operation, to me seems a little bit high, and in my opinion. But I do think that you're doing great work. I can see the numbers are working, and I appreciate the partnership with TSTC, UTRGV, and all the other colleges, and I know that are benefiting our community and our residents, and so for that is the reason why I want to continue to support. I just want to make sure that we can help them even more so if we can directly allocate those fundings for them. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we're going to move on to item
Thank you.
10E. Consideration and possible action to authorize the Harlingen EDC to enter into a contract with Retail Strategies for retail recruitment and consulting services. Orlando?
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, Orlando Campos once again with the Harlingen EDC. For your consideration is a request from the EDC allowing us to engage Retail Strategies to assist us with our retail as well as restaurant recruitment efforts. We haven't engaged a similar type of consulting firm in the past. This past year, we decided to take a break, reevaluate the organization that we were working with prior to this year, and we actually met with two other similar type of consulting firms that could assist us with this effort. Retail Strategies surfaced as the organization that we felt the most comfortable with. We did also speak with a few other communities that have used them, and they also felt very comfortable with what they were doing with the, in terms of providing support to their very own community. As part of this effort, Retail Strategies will help open the door to national retailers as well as restaurants to encourage them to consider Harlingen for future expansions into the community itself. They will also bring in a team that will evaluate the community, meet with local community stakeholders as well as individuals from the community to learn a little bit more about what the community wants in terms of retail as well as restaurants. So we are bringing this forward to you for your consideration. We also provided attachments that provide more insight on who Retail Strategies is. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Mike stepped out.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 10F, presentation of the final report, fiscal year 2025, Revitalize Harlingen program, and consider approval of funding for the fiscal year 2026 Revitalize Harlingen matching grant program.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Wait. On 10F, I just ask if you all would consider expanding Zone 1 to also include the other half of the overlay district. So I'd make a motion approving it subject to that inclusion.
Zone 1.
It's on page 7 of 10.
Okay. You're talking about the overlay district.
Yes, sir. So the overlay district is, Zone 1 covers half of it, well, the western half. It's one that, the eastern half also included as well.
Okay. Well, we are including, or rather $100,000 is encumbered for specifically the downtown Harlingen district. And-
Okay, that's separate from this, because
Yeah.
I saw somewhere that it was included in this.
Yes.
That's why.
No, it is included, and so basically, one of the updates that we did to the Revitalize Harlingen program guidelines on page 1, second to the last paragraph, we've included in there comment that says businesses located within the designated downtown zone must consult with a downtown Harlingen office to ensure that all proposed improvements comply with applicable downtown design guidelines and historic preservation requirements. So this was done to ensure that businesses that would qualify for that $100,000 that are located within the downtown district do abide by all historic ordinances. We have also been working with Alexis with downtown Harlingen on also the process of how applicants related who reside in that area, how they will be managed. So if the program is approved to move forward this evening, we will launch the program tomorrow. And so any businesses within the downtown Harlingen district that apply would essentially go through Alexis first to make sure that what they're planning on doing does abide by all ordinances. And once she approves that, then it comes to us for funding.
I get that, but what I'm saying is Revitalize Harlingen Zone 1 only covers half the overlay district.
Okay.
Not the full overlay district.
Okay, so you want,
I want the full.
okay.
Can I just make a note on that to answer your question, Commissioner? Beverly Loftus, thank you. This is just encompassing the city of Harlingen. So this downtown district is separate from the maps that you see here. This is not the maps that are for downtown district. So Zone 1 was originally done for year 1. Zone 2, I think, was year 2, and then the other 2 zones were for the following year. Those are the zones in addition to the downtown zone that's not included in this visual. It is included in the overall program, and we can include the visual as part of the attachment so that they know like where downtown zone is. But after those 3 zones for 3 months are targeted, then after 3 months, all of the city of Harlingen is eligible.
Okay.
So, but we'll include the downtown zone map, the entire overlay for downtown as part of the attachment. So they understand that they are included.
Perfect,
Does
thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah, and the map was provided by downtown Harlingen, so it'll be incorporated.
Perfect, thank you.
So your motion is fine as presented?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, next item. Item 10G is presentation and possible action to approve the funding for Boost Harlingen, a new small business marketing matching grant program developed by the Small Business Advisory Committee of the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, the following item is consideration and possible action to approve the Harlingen EDC Fiscal Year 2026 Annual Work Plan.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do you have a question, Daniel?
No.
Motion carries unanimously. Right?
Yes.
Unanimous?
Ad hoc committee for the business incubator, right? Who's that gonna make up? Is it just EDC people?
We've have established a subcommittee from the board that will be volunteering on that. However, we are open to either the mayor or any city commission members that want to participate as part of that process. So
Can
just
you
let
include
us
me
know.
in there too, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you include me in that committee?
Sure, absolutely.
Perfect building. May.
I have some ideas. I'll have to tell
Perfect
you
building
later,
for 'em.
but,
All right.
yeah.
Excellent, yeah.
And then just, I think it goes without saying, to, like, for the small businesses, you can just continue to include me. And maybe on the other correspondence from the Small Business Committee, maybe just copy Gabe so that way he's in the loop of what y'all are doing. It's hard to make all their meetings though, because it's at like 3 o'clock.
Okay, we have a motion? We had a motion and a second,
All
right?
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, it was already approved, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was already approved. Yeah, okay, it doesn't hurt to double vote. Next item?
Next item is consideration and possible action to authorize the city manager to award a construction contract with SLR Contractors for RFP number 2025-11 Dixieland Park Basketball Court Improvements Engineering.
Have you done work with them before?
Yes, ma'am. Roberto Hernandez, city engineer. They're doing the work right now for the animal shelter. They're the ones completing. They're on schedule, doing good work. Haven't had any issues so far.
And I noticed they had a lot of references too,
Yes.
like from Edinburgh, La Jolla, and all these other places as well.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Well, I kind of wanted him to go through the presentation because I want people at home to be able to see what's going on in District 5.
All right.
So the Dixieland Basketball Court Improvements Project is funded through the Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds. The scope of work includes the construction of a prefabricated pavilion structure, associated concrete foundation, and basketball court, and an owner allowance for any necessary field adjustments. We did get 2 bids. SLR Building for the base bid was $279,395, and MTL Construction base bid being $355,347 with 30 cents. So the base bid did include, like I said, the installation of a prefabricated building. It's approximately 25 feet tall. The basketball concrete pad being 100 by 62, that will allow for people to play full size. It's going to be matching the size, yes, like all the other parks. It would also include the lighting, so the way it's lighted from dawn to midnight, depending on the park hours. In terms of the alternatives, we are not awarding those because we would be out of budget. We're only doing the base bid. If there's any questions, I could answer those.
So long story short, this is going to be a covered basketball court on Dixieland Park, correct?
That is correct.
And it's going to be the first covered basketball court in this, that's city-owned, correct?
That is correct.
And it is in District 5, correct?
Yeah, and they're going to name it after you, Randy.
And for anyone that is curious, it's in District 5,
Yeah.
and it's
There's
Commissioner
an
Pettis.
echo in the room.
On Garrett and Dixieland Road.
And it's going to be amazing and keep kids safe.
Okay, we have a
no
first
heat
and
stroke.
second.
Oh, this is something I've been after for a while, and I want to thank you because I know I've been bugging you for it, and I appreciate your hard work, and, you know, Parks time, Danny left, oh, no, he's right there. And I know I've been bugging both of you guys, like, all the time about this. It's because I'm excited for it, but I want to thank you for everything you guys have done. It's really appreciated.
Yes, sir.
My question is on the cost of the basketball court. I'm looking and it's saying 147,000?
No, for this proposal, the installation of the prefabricated metal structure, it was for 122,000 lump sum, and then for the concrete work, another 122,000.
How much did it cost to do the basketball court at Vestal Park?
For the concrete work, I don't have the number. It's
Like 60, 70,000, right?
60,000? Oh, Danny? About 67,000, but concrete work only, and that was the material. All the labor was in-house savings. Here, it is being through CDBG, so we're complying with the grant requirements.
So it's like double.
But you can't do it in-house?
Not to my
Because of
knowledge. It had to be contracted out
Well, you-
and get
you would
bids.
This is my concern about your project, is just the cost aspect of it, right? And this is why Oscar did a phenomenal job. Oscar, Chris, Danny did a great job of saving me as much money as I could so that I can then reallocate the CDBG money for other different, the walking trail or different lights or things like that. And so I just want, you, Commissioner, to make sure that this is being done as.
Frugally.
Huh?
Frugally.
Yeah, frugally, we'll make up that word, yes. Frugally, correct, because I want you to I know this is one of multiple projects that you want to do at Dixieland. And so you'll have like what,
No, it's not.
disc golf, you have walking trail, you have all this. And so if you think that this is the best use of that money and you think this is the best deal for that project, then proceed forward as you see fit.
But it was already approved as far, right? And allocated when we went over there.
Correct, but you can
budget.
reallocate that money. That's all I'm saying. But if there's already a motion and a second, we can proceed forward.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 11, board appointments. Specifically appointed or discussion and possible action to include appointment and/or removal of any position subject to appointment or removal by statute, ordinance, or bylaws.
None.
None.
Museum Advisory Board, Yolanda Alexandre Bradon.
None.
None. You know what, let's go back to I'm sorry. If we can just reappoint Bud O'Rear and then Heriberto Aguilar. They're already on the board, so just reappoint.
All right, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 12, executive session. All items listed in this section will be deliberated in a closed session. Members of the public are not generally permitted to attend a closed session. Executive session items may be considered as an action item at the discretion of the mayor. However, City Commission will not take any action in closed session. Item A is pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, attorney consultation and contemplated litigation. Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real estate, and Section 551.087, economic development relating to the following projects. Project Auntie, Tyler, It's Time, DC, Skyline, Shrimp, Emerald Green, Smoke Signals, Organic, and Beach. And then item B is pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, attorney consultation and contemplated litigation. We have item C, which is pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property. And item D is pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with legal counsel to receive information protected of attorney-client communication privilege. And I need a motion.
Motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The time is now 8:25 PM. We'll retire to executive session and be out shortly. All right. The time is now 10:18 PM, and we are back in open session and have, moving forward, sorry, Ms. Myra?
It's going to be item 13, action on executive session items. The City Commission will reconvene in open session and may take action on any items listed in the executive session section of this agenda. Item A is consideration and possible action on items 12A, 1 through 10, as discussed in executive session.
take a motion.
Take a motion to approve on item 13A, make motion to approve A1, A2, A5, and A6 to proceed as discussed.
And 10?
And on item 810, motion to approve resolution 2025-61 and additional items discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, item B is consideration and possible action on item 12B as discussed in executive session.
I make a motion to proceed as discussed in executive session.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. And just for the record, Commissioner Mike Mesmer is not participating in the executive session votes.
And item C is consideration and possible action on allocating funds for the ADK Consulting and Executive Search for a Director of Aviation position.
Motion approved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, and then we have an adjournment.
All right, and we are adjourned. Thank you.